Andrew mentioned,
So
I'm Marnee
I do
Morgan,
my
and I have um, the good fortune and blessing, if more than fortune, to say that with this call, we are proudly celebrating 10 years with Morgan Graves Consultants. I am honored to be facilitating today's Lunch and Learn with Justine Peterson because there's a part of what we will talk about today involves having those partners and mentors to support your business journey. So, not only is this something that is very, very meaningful for me personally, I want you to know that if you are currently in business as an entrepreneur or you're thinking about moving along that pathway, Justin Peterson has proven to be the partner that is going to support that business journey. So I am completely honored to be here today. As you know, today's Lunch and Learn series is about how to grow your business and looking at within this hour some sustainable practices that will allow you to make those decisions around growing your business, redirecting your strategies, and ensuring that you have what you need in terms of resources and all of the things that come with building your business. So I'm going to share my screen so that you can see the agenda and PowerPoint that I put together for today. And what I would like to do is take a moment for those of you who are on with us. And by the way, thank you all so much for joining today's Lunch and Learn. I'd like to meet each one of you. And if you can tell me a little bit about your business journey. Are you at the beginning or have you been in business for a while? And what your expectation is for today's session. So it's not a lot of us, which is good. I kind of like the fact that it's like a small group so we can really talk and connect much better that way. So Roxanne, I'll start with you, then Mary, followed by Rosalind, and then Laura.
Okay, thank you. Um, Marnie, my name is Roxanne Carr, and I'm at the beginning of this. We just are in the process of opening up our a private school in Florissant,
Oh,
and
wow.
we got our business loan through Justine Peterson, which was wonderful.
Okay.
And I'm just going through fire and safety inspections and occupancy permits and all the good fun stuff. And I jumped on here today because um, you don't know everything. And I'm reaching out to my community and people like you and Justine Peterson and saying, help, help. I need all the information I can. I need somebody to hold my hand through this process.
That's the
So
absolute right thing to do. That is
yes,
the right thing to do. Shout help as
yes,
loudly as you can. So nice
yeah.
to meet you, Roxanne, and congratulations. That's
Thank you. Thank you
awesome.
so much. Thank you. Mhm.
Rosalind or Mary, either one.
Okay, I don't know if you see me, but
I can't
um,
see you. I can hear you well, but I can't see you, Mary. If your camera is where, there you go. There you
okay,
go.
I'm at a place, so I don't know how even I look on camera.
You look
Um,
beautiful. You
uh,
look beautiful.
but anyway, I've been in a business for a while, and there's always lots of help for the company. But I'm taking it a lot serious. Been in business over 10 years, but the money doesn't come in there. and I do believe that I take a loss every month, likely. So I'm just trying to balance it off and just find products besides things selling in people airspace because I have a show on ABC 30, a talk show. But just doing more things with my writing, stepping out on faith with that in order to bring in revenue. So I probably do need a marketing firm to help. And I don't mind paying the money for it. At this point, I put a lot of money into the Marianne Network because I do work a part-time job, so I won't lose.
Okay. All righty. Thank you. And Roxanne, I can't see you. Let's go next with, there you are, Roxanne. I see you now. What about Rosalind? Can you
Hello,
introduce
hello,
yourself?
hello, everyone. I'm Rosalind Coker. I've been in the business for since 2018, off and on. I do have a home health care business that service CDS clients. Also, I have an in-home business. I wanted to do more into the business. Think outside the box to get more information. So that's why I decided to log on to get other ideas.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining us today. Laura, and we can't see you either. Your camera. Oh, there you go. Hey, Laura. Hello. You're on mute, Laura.
Okay. There
There
I
you
go.
go. There
Look,
you go.
I'm all over the place. I was saying I'm at work, so I'm like I work in a research lab for WashU,
Oh,
but
wow.
I hopped on here. I'm trying to get just some extra income. I've been in a business. I'm a mobile notary, but I've added other services to my business like apostille services. I'm just trying to get out, network, and try to build it up. I am also trying to get into the home healthcare field. I know it's kind of oversaturated, they said, but that's kind of where my passion at with medical wise and healthcare. So I'm here to try to get all the nuggets that I can.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining. Nice
Absolutely.
meeting you.
And congratulations. I think that was to Roxanne who has to school. Congratulations. We definitely need more of that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Chanel, I think you are our last one, I believe, that's on with us. I can see your picture, but your camera is not.
Oh, sorry about that.
That's
Um,
okay.
yeah, well, I've been in business for a little bit. Um, what was the questions? What do you want me to answer? Sorry.
Well, just say a little bit about your business journey if you're currently in business or if you have an aspiration to start a business or just what you would like to gain from today's session.
Okay, yeah. Well, I have a tax and accounting and consulting firm.
Oh, wow.
I,
Awesome.
yeah, I also work full time, so that's been a fun, uh, little time management, that I've been having to juggle. I am looking to get some insight on just some of the newer resources that are out here. This may not be the class for what it is that I need, but I think just more ways to grow the business is great. I mean, I know that we live in a digital world now, and that's more so what I need to learn about the AI aspect of it. But I am open to learning other ways to grow what I already have. I'm also indulging in some partnerships. So, yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Well, you're right. The AI component may be a part of another Lunch and Learn series. However, I am so pleased that you decided to join, and I hope for this particular session there's something that you can walk away with. What I would like us to do as fellow entrepreneurs, either starting, have a vision to start, or been at it for a while, why don't you take a second and put your name and your email address in the chat so that everyone can connect with one another following today's session. I understand that there is Rosalind, a person on, I believe that was Laura, who's interested in also going or into home health. So I think a very important piece of a business journey is the networking. It's a critical piece because you just never know who you're speaking with and what they may have that you need. So if you don't mind, if it's okay, go ahead and share that. So what I want to look at first before we start, and this is something that, oh, let me look at the objectives. Sorry about that. I don't want to get ahead of myself. So what you'll walk away with today: vision to fruition, what is needed, business credit basics, steps to establishing business credit. And someone already mentioned that they are currently working with Justine Peterson. So you know they are an excellent resource for building your business credit. What to avoid when building credit. And I'm here, meaning, okay, I've started this thing, I've jumped off the porch. Now what? So I'll talk a little bit about what to expect, how to manage that, and then we'll open it up for discussion. Does anyone have a hard stop at 1 o'clock? And I'm asking that question because we did start a little bit later, and I want to honor the time frame that was shared with you for an hour session. Does anyone have to immediately drop off at 1? So if you don't mind, we'll just keep going until we have hit the hour. If that's okay with everyone, if you just give me a thumbs up or just wave at me and let me know, because I want to give you the amount of time that was shared when you signed up. Thank you so much, Laura. So let's take a look at this business development assessment. For those of you who are already in business, of course, this might be a little repetitive for you because you've been there, done that. But what I want you to do is, if you haven't started, look at what that vision is for your business. And I'm going to pick on you, Roxanne, because you had a vision that you wanted education to be at the forefront of what you do. Is that right? Oh, wait a minute. I think I caught you off guard. Sorry about that, Roxanne. But in any case, the first and most important step is that you look at the vision, not just from the standpoint of, I really want to do this. I think this is what I'd like to do. Look at the vision from the standpoint of what makes sense. And what do I mean when I say that? Does your vision connect with what is needed for the business that you want to establish? The connection and alignment is critical. It's critical. So if you're thinking about, I just don't want to work anymore, I just want to work for myself, that is not a vision that would be prudent for going into business. Why? Because you're not doing it because you have the passion, because you are already invested. you're doing it because you just want a change of scenery and shift in where your life is now and where you're going. So the key thing that you want to take a look at, and you can do this self-assessment when this session is over, because I understand you'll have a copy of this handout. The first thing you want to do is take your vision and apply a strengths-based approach to it. And by that, I mean just look at three key factors. Number one, is it feasible? Number two, is it rooted in reality? Is it something that is not only a passion for me, but is it needed for the people who will support this business? Number two, if I stumble, if I fail, if I completely tap out, am I willing to latch back on to that vision to keep going? And then finally, is this about just me, or is this for the greater good? And these are rhetorical questions, obviously, but I want you to think about them as we're talking today. Of course, the next question, why this venture? Why? What is the why? And does the why make sense? And then why now? Looking at the business landscape, I'm glad it was mentioned that, well, I've been told that this is a saturated area for healthcare, but I want to press on and do it anyway. Good for you, because the landscape is something that you need to know about, and that's true. So you've already done the homework. You know and understand that there's a lot of healthcare businesses out there right now. So what you do in that space is think about the unique qualifier. You know what CDS is, you know what in-home care is, and you know that the state has an overrun of those contracts. What will you do that is uniquely different than what Rosalind is doing and anyone else is doing to ensure that you can attract the clients for your business? Unique qualifier. In this case, what could it be? The approach to customer service, the approach to customer engagement. And by customer, I'm referring to your clients. How much hands-on are you willing to offer in addition to the family member or friend who's providing the care? So knowing the business landscape is critical. But knowing the business landscape means that it creates an opportunity for you to set yourself apart. And what is your purpose? And I spoke about that just a few moments ago. Why are you doing this? Is it because I just don't want to work for anyone anymore? Or do you truly have a passion to ensure the education is offered for students who are in the Florissant community? Do you have a passion to see them succeed in a way that is not currently offered within the school district, and that unique qualifier that will set you apart from that education platform? And then finally, when you're doing this assessment, you can do it with your business partner or with someone who you consider a mentor, or just do it within yourself. Last question, what is your investment in the business? And you probably think, when I say investment in the business, you're talking about a monetary investment. That is only part of it. How much of you are you willing to invest in this business? Your time, your talent, your energy, your passion. All of those things must be present to sustain that business. It is no longer where you're looking at it from just a straight down the center. Okay, I go in at 9, I leave at 5. Of course, for those of us who are business owners, we know the investment far exceeds just an everyday work schedule. So I'm going to stop there and take any questions that you may have with this very basic business development assessment, but critical to a sustainable business platform. Any questions? Comments? Okay, we'll keep going. So if we look at this credit building basics, the first thing you want to do in starting is give yourself a minimum jump start of 2 years. You have the vision. You've completed the assessment, although you didn't have it, but maybe you had a different tool that you used to assess whether or not moving forward would be prudent. As you're starting, the first thing that you're going to do is start with your personal credit. That's number one. And where do you start? First is building a relationship with a bank or a community-based organization such as Justin Peterson, and ideally both entities have that business banking relationship a minimum of 2 years prior. And what you want to do with that business banking relationship is take that vision and incorporate that assessment, sit down with your banker, let them know this is what I want to do. Here's my business plan. 2 years from now, I want to start an educational platform in Florissant. This is the amount of money based upon your projections that you've placed in your business plan that I will need. What will I need for this approval? Not to be considered, not to say, well, we'll think about it. What do I need to get approved for this loan? And when you have that conversation, take with you all of your financials showing that you have started a process before the business even is off the ground. You've already started that process. And if you don't have those financials because you don't have a business started, your financials are represented where? In your business plan by way of your projections. Here's the other thing. Make sure that you know what credit bureau that particular bank uses. Make sure you know what the bottom line credit score requirement is for that bank. Make sure that you know what is considered a solid banking relationship. And by that I mean, as a depositor, how much is needed to be on deposit in order for you to be considered. Any questions? Once you establish that business banking relationship, Then you start looking at the components needed to begin building that business. The first thing that you want to request with that business banking relationship and building your credit is what? Who thinks they know what the answer would be for that? You've done all of your legwork. You've put together your business plan. You've established the relationship as a bank depositor. You've had the meeting with the business banker. What is it that you should apply for first before anything else? Anybody have an idea?
It would be to get a banking account.
Well, you got the banking account. We started there with credit building basics, and that's what I've gone over. Rosalind, you're in business. You've been in business for a while. What do you think that starting place should be for that banking relationship? Well, I'll go ahead and tell you. The first thing you should apply for is a line of credit. Most important, you may know based upon your financial projections that you need 250,000 or 300,000. You may already know that. But what I want you to do is err on the side of caution, particularly as a new business, and ensuring that you have a revolving buffer or cushion. So, in the event that you have some upfront costs and expenses, things that you need in order to get started, like contractor fees, your staffing costs, benefits, all of the payroll, all of those things. With a term loan, sure, you will have those funds, but you need a revolving line of credit in order that when you have ebbs and flows, things go wrong, you have a buffer. You can close the gap and close it quickly. It requires that you manage it well in terms of your accountability, your fidelity, and ensuring good, sound financial management practices. So that is why I recommend highly a minimum of 2 years, because all of the things that you will need, you'll have that conversation with the banker. So when it's time to apply, you check the boxes that are needed. The most disappointing and stressful scenario is you've not taken those front end steps and you want to build the credit, but you've not done the work and you can't get what you need. And you're looking at timelines, you're looking at payments that have to be made, and you don't have that support. So ensure that as you start with the line of credit and then you move on to the term following the guidance of your banker. And then what you want to do with credit do's and don'ts. You do want to ensure that your personal credit is in order, notwithstanding the fact that you have your own EIN number for your business separate from your social security number. It doesn't matter. Most creditors or lenders will look in tandem with your business credit as well as your personal credit. Work very hard over those 2 years to get your score as high as you possibly can get it, meaning you pay down a lot of debt, get yourself a good, head start to paying down those credit cards and different things that may affect your credit. Ensure that you're no 30-day late pays ever, ever, because one is going to hurt you when you're looking at business credit. One 30-day late pay will hurt. Also, ensure that as you are working to improve your personal credit, that you're taking steps to build the business credit. The first thing is to get your business registered with Dun and Bradstreet. Critical, because as you're thinking towards the day when you want to start borrowing as an investment for the growth of your business, you have to have that in place. Also, make sure that your taxes are filed each and every year. Your personal taxes are filed. As you apply for credit, lenders are going to ask you for your tax return for yourself as well as your business. If you're starting a business, of course, you don't have a tax return for the business, so they're going to weigh heavily in your personal taxes. Also, as a due, make sure that you go with your business plan. There are a number of community-based organizations that will help support building out a business plan if you don't know how to do it, or if you can't, or if you don't feel comfortable in doing it. Don't ever over project what you can do. Be conservative in the beginning as you possibly can. Do not overstate what you have already done. Again, err on the side of being conservative. Avoid risk in the startup phase of your business to the extent possible. And when I say the extent possible, of course, starting a business is a risk in and of itself. Do not add risk to that by making decisions in a unthoughtful way, not giving consideration to what? Landscape, competition, looking at your personal investment, all of the things that are very, very important for making the right decisions. And even as conservative as you want to be, there can be a misstep. Always be willing to redirect the strategy to get back on course. I'll stop there for just a second and take your comments and feedback. Rosalind, I see your hand.
Yes, I want to piggyback on what you said about the line of credit. When I
Sure.
first started my business, that's something I didn't have. I worked at a 9-to-5 job. I always been in the health field and worked there. And I have when I did my payroll, we didn't do it on time before we submitted it to the emo med, and we didn't get paid. So I had to put money into my own business account to furnish the business until I built the account up. But that's something I didn't do when I first got started. I didn't, get more information for his business credit or anything. I just went head in. I just went out there on faith, and that was been ever since 2018. So
Well, the blessing is that you were able to rebound.
yes,
And I am truly glad to know that you recognize from today's session that that's something that was missing, but it's not too late.
right. And
It is
then
not too late.
I learned as I went. I
There
made a
you
lot of
go.
mistakes, but I learned as I went.
And oftentimes, particularly with us as small business owners, that's how we learn, because we don't know what resources to tap into. We don't know who to turn to for help, because obviously in a competitive space, first of all, you don't know who to trust.
No one's gonna tell you information either. So
Well, I'm here today to turn that around, because I said to Justine Peterson, for all that I have been able to do as a result of their support, I just wanted to give back. So I intend to do the lunch and learn sessions as often as they request me to do it, and share offline. I put my name and my email inside of the chat as well. So if anyone wanted to talk to me offline, I certainly am open for that opportunity. Anybody else can I hear from? Any questions or anything that you would like me to elaborate on? Say it again.
Yes. Oh, sorry.
No, you're okay.
Okay, this is Chanel. So I have had the experience of, going into a bank and setting up my banking account, and then I um, got a credit card. But if I would have known to like say that I wanted more money instead of, putting down that, hey, I would get like 200K or whatever, I would have did a little bit more. Is it that when you first start up that we should say that we want millions if we want more credit? Like, how does that look? And then also, that's the first question. The second question is, when we're in partners, like, I have a real estate partnership that I'm a part of that we're starting up. We are looking to get some credit for our partnership. And so, is it kind of like the same way we would go into a banking account? I'm sorry, a bank, but because it's all of us partners, um, linking up together to do this business, like whose name, I guess, would be I mean, is there a particular person, or can we just go in there and say, hey, this business is looking to start a banking account and we need to build business credit, so give us a credit card. And then even that, how much should we, I mean, we're looking for, of course, millions, you know what I mean, because of real estate. But um, those are my two questions, just how
Very,
to go about that with the bank.
very, very good questions. First of all, go back to that personal assessment that we discussed at the top of the session. Landscape. That means that you're doing your research. Look for those banks that are actively advertising that they have a business credit department, business lending department. Very important. Some banks offer the community development lending programs, business and economic development business programs. Some do not. So it's very, very important that you do your homework and have conversations with different banks before you make a decision to establish that banking relationship. The other piece to that is ensure that you are getting from that business banker, and it would be random initially when you go into the bank. You want to know who is the vice president of business lending. And that's the individual you would start with in order to have a consultation around, this is what I want to do. What can you do to support my achieving that goal? That is the question that you're asking the bank. Before you get to a dollar amount, before you say, I know I need millions, first of all, what does this look like? What does business lending mean in terms of this being me as a deposit customer, or is this an actual partnership? Now, when you're talking about multiple partners starting the business together, I recommend, Chanel, that all of the partners come together to do an assessment of their financial status, a financial scan, to ensure that individually the strengths and challenges are clearly articulated. Everything is transparent so that you can build your strategies based upon what is known, not the unknown. Because the last thing that you want to do as partners of a business entity is get to this bank or this lending institution and they start a whole process, and then one of the partners has a 450 credit score, right? That should not have been disclosed in that process. That should have been disclosed at the very beginning. So, my advice to you is number one, do your homework to land at the bank that you will have the best partnership, not a deposit relationship, but a business lending partnership. Number two, all of the partners together should come for full and transparent disclosure of their personal status. Because remember, I shared, once you get into the application process, it is not just about your business, it is about you personally. Those were very, very good questions. Anybody else? Any other questions, comments? Let's look at some key sustainability factors. As Rosalind pointed out, and is common among business owners, particularly minority business owners who don't really have a good frame of reference.
I have a question. I tried to
Please
ask, but I couldn't take my
raise
phone
your
off
hand. It's okay.
the Marianne Network. So I realized a problem in my own company, and again, I'm not making enough money, so I'm going a little bit more diverse, and miracles are happening with connections. But I've always heard that it's a process. But what the Lord has shown me is that the reason why it's taking so long is because it's almost like Kentucky Fried Chicken. It's definitely there for the family line to take over. But I guess when I started it, I didn't realize just how serious lining up paperwork is. Like the most important thing would be the paperwork because I've convinced the people that it's believable. So it's believable. It wouldn't even matter that I would use my cell phone sometimes, but everything that I do is believable. Now I have to take that believability to realize that the paperwork lined up in order is for a company that's really a multi-million-dollar company, and it's very serious. It's above my head now that I can only do things such as when I see an email come from Justin Peterson, go to that and apply these things in my company and step out on faith. But I even forgot the question that I'm going to ask you. To me, it's not about money because I took the time to get my credit together, and it is, there's a glitch because I filed bankruptcy. But other than that, I have near 700, which I wouldn't have had at first because they do come after you out there. They look at you. Those banks, they tear you apart. So I've been tore apart. But I got all my ducks in order now. It's not the money. It's the profit. It's that profit flowing in. That's it.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you for sharing that. And I will say, in response to a part of what you shared, having your paperwork in order as a business owner, your balance sheet, your profit and loss statements, your tax returns, those things are critical to ensure that you can garner the response that you're seeking from those banks. Your paperwork is not compromisable. You have to have those things in order. And the other don't is never be in business without a professional accountant, bookkeeper, or a financial expert in some area of accounting. And the only financial expert I can personally think of would be a certified public accountant. Can a bookkeeper do it? Well, of course, if you're using a software platform like QuickBooks or something else, yeah. If you're versed in how to manage your finances through that platform, a bookkeeper would suffice. If you're too busy, you got so much on your plate, and you're trying to run a business, but you don't have time for that bookkeeping element, then you need an accountant. So you're right. Most of our decisions to us as believers are faith driven. You're absolutely right. However, in the business world, we know that there are certain things that allow us to get to the table, and not only get to the table in front of the right folks, and then to walk away with what we need. And that is to ensure that you have your internal administrative component in order. And I know you've heard the term. A lot of times people say, yeah, I'm in business. I'm in business, but are you of that business? Are you clear on how your administrative component impacts everything that happens with your return, with your profit, with your customer base, with your capacity? All of those things tie back or connect to your administrative components. So I hope that is the appropriate response for what you shared with us, and thank you for that. Anybody else? Let's look at some of the sustainability factors, and everything that I've talked about to this point would support the sustainability of your business. Number one, if at all possible, a lot of us have to jump out on faith and get started, and we have to pick it up, drop it, pick it back up again as we go. But if you're starting from a vision and you want to establish the business, to sustain it, and to get to those milestones of 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, be sure that you get your head start. Your head start is to start working on your personal credit first. Great job for you, Laura, that you're in the 700s. That's a good thing. Start working. Give yourself a minimum of 2 years to pay down any excess debt that you have. Try to maintain an excellent credit standard with your assets. that is important, or those assets are important. Looking at building that banking relationship as a bank partner for your business growth and development. Knowing ahead of time what the criteria for lending is and the road is needed to get there. Finally, your personal investment to ensure that as you pivot, as things don't go according to plan, we heard that administratively there was a delay that impacted payroll, so they had to come from another source. You have to be willing to stand even through those errors, even though those things knock us down, although, and pardon my grammar for even though, and although we are faced with what appears in that time and space to be insurmountable. Like, oh my God, how can I get past this? I get up something else. The more prepared you are in the beginning is what will help to sustain you as the years are moving toward a higher goal, whatever that may be. If it's expansion, if it is to replicate the business in other areas, or even to go out of state. Those sustainability factors are critical. I want to add to that, know your business. Don't just say I'm a business person, I own a business and I got this. No, be of it, know the nuances of your business, know how it's run. Revert back to what your initial plan was, that you were able to build from a vision, and look at what needs to be updated, redirected, and pivot based upon knowing the business, knowing the landscape, knowing who your competition is, how you can present a uniqueness to the services that you're offering, and ensuring that you are meeting every obstacle with a plan. As you're growing, somebody talked about the growth requiring millions. Diversifying that service portfolio is important. So if you're looking at real estate, you're looking at healthcare, you're looking at construction, logistics, those things help to sustain the business, mainly because when you're in an ebb and flow period in one, the other one can kind of help carry that until you get back on track. So the diversification of your service portfolio is important. Roslyn, I think you mentioned it. You said you have the CDS, then you also have the in-home, and I think you mentioned one more thing. What was that third thing that I heard? You're on mute, Roslyn.
I'm sorry.
No, you're okay.
I also have private duty.
Okay, I knew I heard a third, I just didn't remember it. Chanel, you mentioned that you are diversifying as we speak, that you all are looking at a multi-tiered real estate venture. Believe it or not, a diversified service portfolio is a critical sustainability factor. Now, caution,
Hold on,
you
baby.
don't
She
want
talking to
to
me.
you don't want to take too deep of a dive to where you become overwhelmed and you can't manage any of it. That's very important that you keep perspective around your capacity, your revenue, and knowing the landscape. Any other questions or comments that I can receive from you? Okay, we have about, looks like about 6 minutes. So I'm going to open it up to discussion. This is the last part of today's Lunch and Learn. You're here, now what? And here is subjective. Here may be at the vision stage. Here may be at the startup phase. Here may be, oh my God, I've been doing this so long, but I'm not moving. Or here may be, I'm just simply at the end of my rope. Wherever you are in this journey for business, the question is, now what? You started with a purpose, and the question would be, have I reached my destiny, or is my destiny still there for the undertaking? Let's kind of talk about anything that I've covered that you need more clarity on, or that you just want to share with our last few moments today. Purpose to destiny.
Well, Miss Marnee, and I am so very grateful that you are the one doing our lunch and learn today. I was in
Oh,
a
thank
space with a
you.
lot of people, so I really couldn't get into at the beginning, but you did get with us over at a therapy type business over there in the county I, with Miss goodness, what was her name? Can't think of it off the top of my head. But anyway, I'm glad to see that you're back. But fast forward. Um, so I am in a 9 to 5 working industry, of course, and me building the partnership that I have aside from having my own business on the side. I am. It's I'm at that point where trying to move up where I'm at, it just seems impossible. But I know that with God, all things are possible. So I'm not going to worry about that. And I feel that what is for me, is for me. And I feel like that I have been built up with the rejections. You know what I'm saying? Like that has kind of groomed me to keep going. You know what I mean? To help me to just have more endurance within my own right to keep going.
Sure.
But trying to decide if I should just leave where I'm at. I mean, I'm comfortable, you know what I mean? But I know that I can spend more time doing other things that would make me happy, moving into my passion. It's kind of hard to just let go of a comfortable job, especially in times like this. You know what I mean? When we don't know what our president is doing and, um, you know, at any given time. I mean, we know COVID took us to a place where we couldn't even come outside, and a lot of us were, the way we were making money is with interaction with people. And so, I don't want to live in a scary mind space.
Sure.
But it is hard. I mean, it's not like I'm asking, how to go about it, what should I do? It's just, it is very hard to just jump without anything. Um, it's like, well, I guess I could ask a question. Would it be sustainable to, in this venture where I'm at, get some real estate property, just live off of that until I grow? I mean, but my lifestyle is way different. You know what I'm saying? Where I have bills where I have to pay.
That's a very, very good question. And I'm glad you realize that only you can ultimately make that decision. But I will say this, in order for your business to fully thrive and sustain, you have to give it everything you have. With that being said, if you're dividing the time between employment and running a business. Can it be done? Absolutely. You're proving that it can be.
Yeah.
However, you have to know, Chanel, where you want to land with regard to your growth and your development. So it sounds like you know you need to leave the security of your employment, and I wouldn't dare say yes or no. But what I will say is start preparing to leave your employment. Start taking the steps that are needed for sacrificing certain things, letting some things go, building on some things, so that when you finally say, I'm leaving, you have prepared yourself for the exit to the extent that you can. Your business needs your full investment.
Amen. Amen. Thank you for that. That was good.
Absolutely.
The building and leaving. Because I do have a property that is just kind of sitting there, and I could be taking some of my own money to go ahead and get that fixed so I could get somebody in there to
That's
create
right.
that income for me. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. I kind of reached our time, not kind of reached our time. We have reached our time. So I want to take this opportunity to thank, first and foremost, Justine Peterson for the Lunch and Learn series and me to be a part of that. Certainly, I thank each and every one of you for your time today in joining. And I do hope that I was able to throw out some nuggets that can help you on your business and your business development journey. Again, my information is in the chat. So if you want to continue the conversation offline, my email is there and my phone number. And with that, I'm going to say stay cool. A reprieve is coming tomorrow. And it was so nice to meet all of you. And
Wait, Marnee, I don't see your information in the chat. I'm looking.
you don't?
No.
I put it in there. It should be toward the top, but let me copy it again. How about that?
Oh, you know what? It's probably because I came on at about 12:07.
Okay, I'm gonna copy it again.
Thank
Right?
Yeah,
you.
Oh,
yeah, I put it
absolutely.
on there as well. So
There you
Thank
go.
you. I
I
got
just
it.
put it there. Thank you all so much. Have a good rest of the afternoon and safe journey to your greatness.
All
Thank
right.
you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank
thank
you.
you all very
Bye.
Thank
much. Have a
you.
great
Bye-bye.
rest
Bye.
of your day.